everybody, welcome to another episode of How We Made It. I'm Tom Martin, our Director of Brand Strategy here at Let It Fly Media. Andy Torres, our Senior Creative, is here today, and we're breaking down one of our most electric shoots to date. This was the Super Bowl watch party down at Power and Light District. The client was Union Broadcasting, aka Sports Radio 810. We had to come up with a video that would capture the elation, the possible heartbreak that was pending, everything that went into watching the Chiefs' Super Bowl run against the 49ers. We'll break down how the video happened, prep to shoot to post right after we watch it. Okay, Andy, exhale, because the Chiefs won. I mean, that game was nuts. We're sitting there at Power and Light thinking, are they going to win? If they lose, is our video worthless? Like, we didn't know what was going to happen, and thank God it turned out the way it did. But I want to start with the prep on this thing because you were at the helm of the shooters we wanted, the cameras we wanted, the extremely long pole that we used for the 360 camera. I want your mindset on prep for getting this shoot done.
So we wanted a couple of wide angles. So we had two camera shooters doing that. And then a couple of snipers getting the close-ups of the faces, their facial expressions and the eyes. And that long pole was for the 360 camera we have. We used the GoPro Max. I wanted to capture, in addition to the wide angles, an aerial view of the whole crowd. And obviously we can't fly a drone over crowds or even inside Power and Light. So
it's impossible.
I was like, well, what's the next best thing? The 360 camera. And I think we did a great job of that. Shout out to Justin, our producer here at Let It Fly. He was in charge of basically handling that huge pole, because it's pretty heavy. It doesn't look heavy, but if you try and walk with it, with the camera at the end and it extend it all the way, it's pretty heavy.
How did you find this thing?
I found it through Amazon. I found it, some content creator on Instagram was using it for a concert shoot, and I was like, wait, how do they do that? And I had to go frame by frame until I saw a shadow of a long pole. I'm like, oh, that's it. That's the one. It's not a drone. Or an FPV drone. It's a long pole.
So you pretty much took the approach that this was a concert shoot, except there's no main act. We're trying to capture the crowd. We did have some people, friends of ours from Sports Radio 810, who were on stage. We made sure they were included because they were the client after all.
Right.
But mostly, we had different people set up to get different shots of the crowd. Kind of walk me through the separations on what each person's job was.
So when we got there first, we had Noah, Justin, Dak, and me, I think, were the shooters.
I pitched in
you
here
pitched
and
in,
there.
yeah, you got your GoPro there and helped out with the Max too, the GoPro Max. Pretty much I wanted Dak, the sniper, 70-200, to stay on the ground, focusing on people's shots, their eyes, their facial expressions, everything.
Yeah, eyes especially. Like what's important about that? Capturing that.
Well, if they lose, capturing that, the tears. If they win, capturing that, the tears. So just capturing emotion for that was important for me. The wide angle shooters, just obviously capturing the atmosphere. I had Justin and Noah stay on the ground with Dak to get that perspective. And I went up top, upstairs, to get that perspective.
So The best part, I think, about the video is the amount of different places the shots come from. You have shots on the ground, shots up top,
Right.
and it's not just like an easy way out of this is just showing lots of wide crowd shots, and that's really cool. But I think you do want to find some characters in there, and I think you found a couple people. I remember finding my favorite person that I got was this bald guy up front who had just the most insane range of emotions on his face. So I didn't shoot anyone else for about 10 minutes except him.
Right.
And I think there's two parts in the video, one where he's kind of hoping they're not going to lose, and then one where he's jumping up and down.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, man, everybody else in this crowd looks so young, and this guy can convey the emotion of the Chiefs not having been in this position for a long time. So I think it was important to really go for that emotional connection. But for some of the cooler looking shots, the 360 max, and then editing wise, some of the speed ramps you did where you're trying to really have that rhythm. What did you do to make this thing feel so cool?
You know, people usually edit to the beat, which is fine, which is great. But they usually edit to just the whole notes or the quarter notes, talking musical terms. I try to go with editing eighth notes or even triplet notes. People don't usually pick up on that, but in their mind, subconsciously, they do.
Yeah.
So I think that had a big part on the rhythm of the edit, for sure.
And then with some of the shots, what were a couple of your favorites?
Obviously, the aerial drones. Actually, the way we opened it up with that huge crowd before the game even starts, that was one of my favorite ones.
My favorite one specifically, maybe besides the guy, is when you went from day to night and you had that push into the big crowd. I thought that was really cool. When you sit down to edit this thing late at night, we turned this for the next day.
Yep.
I mean, did you have an idea of what you wanted, or did you have to go through a lot and just pick out what stood out to you? How did you put it together?
So for the parade edit, we had a plan for that. Obviously, everybody picks out their best shots and then gives them to me, and then I pick the best of that. But for this edit, you know, I didn't want to have everyone stay a couple hours just to pick out their shots and help, because it was late. I think the whole party ended at like 10 or something, or 11. And so I had to go through a lot of footage for sure. Man.
You were up late. How late were you up?
I actually didn't sleep until like 7:30 in the morning, only because I was still going at it, and then I just felt weird and I had to go sleep for like an hour, and then I woke up again and then finished it. But it was insane. It was insane for sure.
We appreciated the client, Union Broadcasting, getting CBD American Shaman on this, because that helped cover some of the cost. And you know, it was really good because we wanted to then reward them for working with us by giving it to them the very next day. How important was it, you think, to get a quick turnaround on this thing?
I think it's very important because obviously this is the first championship in 50, 60 years. And to have a recap turned around the next day, I was hoping to have it that night, but I mean, no, I don't think people are going to be watching it. They're going to be partying.
They were all out drunk.
They're all
3
around. Yeah. I mean, which the Chiefs fans in general deserve all that.
Yeah.
So the next best thing, let's have it done by the next morning, by lunchtime or whatever. Which, I mean, probably people are still partying, but more people are going to be on social media. So I felt like let's finish it before then.
What are you most proud of with this video?
The teamwork and all the communication that went with it. A tough part was fourth quarter. I don't know how many minutes were left because I wasn't really watching the video or the game. I was listening to the broadcast when they're about to start each play. Listen for that and then start recording and just focusing on the crowd or a person. So I didn't really get to watch the game. But I did realize that we were losing in the fourth quarter. I'm like, all right, team, let's wrap it up. Let's just get a couple more shots here and there, but let's try and pack up just in case. And so I remember sitting with you in the green room, and there's about to be a big play happen, and you're like, dude, if they make a touchdown right here, we're only a point off or a 3-point. Let's get you ready and go outside to capture the crowd outside. So I think that was probably the highlight of my night.
One thing we did too was we made sure Dakota was ready with graphics, and so we'd actually push out social videos quick videos of the crowd celebrating
Right.
with a really cool Cinema 4D, Chiefs win. We have it right here. And that way you almost build the anticipation that, hey, there's more coming. Like, there's been a crew here. They're going to drop a dope video the next day. And I think that also helped us as well. And then, like, one of the last things for me is, this is one of those elements and situations where I think having sports background helps. Because as much as I wanted to watch the game, I was so much more locked in on getting this guy's reaction.
Yeah.
Because if I miss this, the video isn't what it could be.
Right.
And as much as I want to look up and see Patrick Mahomes hit Sammy Watkins, it's more imperative to do our job. So I never actually saw game highlights of what happened until the next day.
Yes, same.
So in the moment, it was, okay, they are reacting the way they must have scored. Okay, great. Don't look. Keep shooting. Keep shooting. I think while some people may not like that, that's a very rewarding part of what we're doing because, you're charged with the responsibility to not screw it up.
Right.
And I felt like we did really good with it.
I agree that you got to focus on the shots, keep it a focus, and definitely if I agree, if you miss that shot of the man, it wouldn't have been the same video. Honestly, that could have been a video by itself.
Yeah, he was just interesting. He was. And then you had some people, I believe you had somebody up like hitting a sign on the second level.
Right.
And
Dude, there were so many shots that didn't make it. There's a lot of sniper 70 to 200. That's what I call the camera.
The sniper,
yeah, the sniper. There were a lot of shots of that from Dakota that I didn't use because it didn't fit the rhythm of it. And I wanted those epic shots that he shot to breathe a little more, but it didn't really fit in here.
Well, Andy, any other thoughts on this video? What makes it so good? Well, one thing I think is important is for people who we'd love to do more events like this for, when you think back weeks, months later, we've seen people post this video as a way of remembering the game. And maybe everyone, saw the game highlights, but this is something that has more of a human connection. So in my mind, like capturing that as it relates to another big event, I think it's important to have a video like that. It's why people keep coming to us, but I don't know if you felt just something cool, like a cool connection to it, because I did.
I did too. I felt like we captured the atmosphere and the energy perfectly, and I wish that we got an interview with the man that you shot with all the emotions.
That could have been good, yeah. I don't know. Should we have put... I don't know if maybe at the end. Maybe like a celebratory comment at the end, but that's all I would change.
That's all I would change. But honestly, I think it was close to perfect as we like it.
Yeah. Definitely
fits with the way we want to tell our stories, the stories of the Chiefs and the fans that have been waiting 50 years for this. I think we did a good job on that. It's
more than just a watch party, man. It's one of the biggest nights of all these people's lives, and we know it because we've been in those situations before too. So it was fun to do. Andy, appreciate you coming on, man. I can't wait to do more of these. This is our second episode. Keep tuning in on our YouTube page and on letitflymedia.com. Andy, till next time.
Till next time.